There was once quite a unique monk who would take on all of his spiritual practices, meditations, and way of life completely naked. And so this sparked a conversation and a concern around the local village, the town, the people, as well as the local monastery with the rest of the monks. And so obviously some of the conversations that sparked surrounded the fact that this monk who is taking on these holy practices, this holy way of life, he's doing it in perhaps an unholy way. It's blasphemous to do this completely naked. And it's also denting the image of the holy movement of life. And so the monks decided to see and confront this naked monk. They were told that the naked monk would mostly hang out in a cave. And so they all gathered and went towards this cave. And as they entered this cave, to their surprise, he was indeed taking on all of his spiritual practices. He was in deep meditation, but completely naked. And so that confirmed to them that perhaps they do need to confront this monk and speak to him. But of course they wanted to be respectful and allow the monk to finish all of his practices, even though naked. And after some time went by, he finished, and one of the monks from the monastery decided to approach and confront him about it. How could you do all of these holy practices that have been sent down to us for generations completely naked? This is creating such a negative image, and people will think negative of us. And after silence broke, the naked monk finally spoke, and he said that the whole universe is my body. And this cave you guys are all in is my underwear. What the hell are you guys doing in my underwear? Now there are many lessons that we can learn from this short story. But we will discuss a lesson that we can learn from the perspective of the monastery monks and the perspective of the naked monk. From the monastery monk's perspective, we can see that they are trying to change someone else's ways, to perhaps try and protect themselves, to try and protect their image. Now we very often may not be trying to protect our image. It may not be the main motivation why we try to change other people. But at the very least, we may find ourselves in situations where a close friend of ours, a friend, a family member that we really care about is going through a lot of suffering. Whilst we have the solution and we present it to them, they choose not to take it on board. And if you ever find yourself in this situation, what I personally do is it helps to think that different people are in different stages of their life, and each individual is going by their own personal time clock. And it helps to think that every individual is doing their absolute best in every moment. Whether it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, that is just their personal challenge in that moment in time. And so understanding this, we can let go and surrender from the notion of having to control or having to change someone else. Because at the end of the day, as much as we care about the other individual, we are to some extent trying to control them, even if we believe we have the best interest for them. And then again, people are also at different stages in the way they learn. Some individuals, they learn from other people's examples, other people's mistakes, which is obviously ideal. Other people learn from their own mistakes. They get the first-hand experience. Of course they suffer, but now they have an invaluable lesson. And then some people, they just don't learn at all. Whether it's from other people's mistakes or from their own mistakes, they just don't learn at all. And so you are now put in a position, you are trying to change someone that you really care about. Are you going to reach your hand out enough where you can drag them up? Or are you going to reach down low enough where you could potentially fall and then get stuck there? Now, let's look at this from the naked monk's perspective. Immediately we can see that this naked monk is very in alignment with himself and with what he feels is right. And at times it's all we need. Now don't take this and see this as an encouragement for you to go around and do things naked. This is not the purpose of this video. But essentially, it's the courage element. The fact that this monk is doing what he feels is right and he is in complete alignment. And obviously he is not succumbing to society's judgments. Because realistically, people will always judge you, whatever you may do. Even if you're a saint and you're helping people tremendously, you are transforming people's lives for the best, people will still somehow judge you. But in any case, this courage is really the highlight that we can take from the naked monk's perspective. This is a tremendous lesson. Because at times, courage is all we really need to try and execute the lessons to be the best version of ourselves. We are all on this journey and we are always faced with different challenges. At times, life may not present a challenge to us, but we present a challenge to ourselves. We really want to be a writer, a poet, an engineer, an astronaut, whatever it may be. We sometimes inhibit ourselves, we challenge ourselves because we come up with self-limiting beliefs that perhaps we may not be good enough, or we will never be able to reach that level, or people will think so and so of me. But take a look at it like this. If people are observing you on your journey to become the best version of yourself, and they look at you as an example, and they are not influenced in a way where they are living their life from the lower faculties of what it means to be a human being, but instead they are encouraged and influenced to look at life from a more higher perspective, then go ahead and do it. Now, in a nutshell, this piece is essentially about change. We all want to strive towards excellence and to become the best version of ourselves perhaps. But are we doing this in the way where we are trying to change others, or are we trying to change ourselves? And so I leave you with this question. Which do you think is more valuable and why? Is it the change of others, or is it the change of ourselves? Thank you for listening and see you next week.